So, as we all know, Clip Studio Paint has tons of different features that can really help you. And sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming seeing just the abundance of features that exist. Just look at these options. Yeah, it's common that some features are overlooked, and so today I'm going to go over the functions of a particular feature from Clip Studio Paint called layer properties. And I'm going to show you how to use them and how I incorporate them in my works. Basically, layer property can modify whatever it is in your selected layer. It consists of four effects, which are border effect, tone, and layer color, which are available to all versions of Clip Studio Paint, and an additional one which is called extract line, available for only Clip Studio Paint EX. It can save you a lot of time and make the process of your artwork much more convenient and fun. One of the good things about layer properties is that you can undo the effects by unselecting the option if you aren't too fond of the results and turn it back on again with its previous settings, so no readjusting anything. So here's my Clip Studio Paint setup. My workspace or layout is not exactly normal as I modified it a bunch, so it's very different from the default workspace. But anyway, this is the default one, and you can find the layer properties right here. So keep in mind that even though the layout are different, everything I'm explaining are right there. Okay, so first one up is border effect, aka my favorite. There are two types of border effects: edge, or for simplicity we'll just call it normal edge, and watercolor edge. These features give you the ability to create a border around anything in your layer in just one click. You can also change the border color to your liking, and as I said, this is my favorite out of the four layer properties because it can be used in so many ways. Aside from the obvious things to do, or at least things I'd assume are obvious, such as create stickers, backgrounds, etc., I use this a lot for rendering or coloring. Here I'm trying to make a couple of accessories with the help of border effects. So I just draw whatever I want, whatever I think is fitting, activate border effect, repeat, rearrange them. Wait, how do you spell accessories? Okay, I'm making a wonky paw right here. But finally, I'm going to merge everything together so I can add a white border to all of them. And here, if you've seen those beautiful artworks with a bunch of stickers on the character's face, I hope you know what I'm referring to, because that's what I'm attempting to do right now. Wait, this is supposed to be like those lipstick marks you see a lot in? But I don't think it turned out the way I wanted. This just looks like sausages. Anyway, a cute bow here, whiskers here. See? Cute? I also use this one a lot when I'm being lazy with backgrounds. All I do is put all of the layers to a folder. Wow. And then I proceed to turn on border effect and adjust it however I like. Ta-da! And last but definitely not least, border for render. So here I did a clothing study and I used border effect in almost every part of this. The outfit, hair, and even on this random piece of paper she's holding. But let me demonstrate it to you by giving her some horns, because I don't know what else to give her right now. So, base color, silhouette of the horns, and boom, border effect. Boom, easy line art. I'm going to break this a little bit. Then I'm gonna lock transparent pixels and start coloring and rendering it. Ta-da! Ah yes, watercolor edge, the forgotten child, the middle child. But not for long, because it can give you a very fancy effect that resembles watercolor. Here it is side by side to a normal edge, and the one on the right here is the star of the show, video, whatever. Here you can play around with the settings however you like. Sure, I'd say I prefer the normal edge, but really, if utilized well, it can be just as good or maybe better. Who knows? Maybe it's just my skill issue. Anyway, I found that using watercolor edge to greeneries, like leaves, bushes, trees, plants, they work very well. Here, as you can see, I've used them a lot for backgrounds for my previous drawings. What I do is just use a brush I like, draw with random colors, and activate watercolor edge. And I like to erase some parts with an airbrush to make it a bit more to my liking. Now on to the second one, exclusive to only Clip Studio Paint EX, Extract Line. This option can turn your image into a line drawing. Here you can play around with the settings and you can even convert the colors to tones by clicking this. And once you're done, Clip Studio Paint automatically separates them into layers so you can control the drawing even more. Now this feature is a huge time saver, especially if you're a comic artist. Even if you're not, Extract Line can really come in handy. Here I have a 3D model of a room I downloaded from the asset library, and I'll adjust it to the way I want. Now I can turn on Extract Line and turn this 3D model to a line art ready to be colored. I'll play around with the settings a bit until I'm satisfied. And done! Now I have a clean line I can color in. Have you ever seen someone's gorgeous art and just go, how do they add those tones? Tones can give your art a stylized look and give it a bit more pop to it by using the third effect, tones. So basically, tones reduces the color into just black and white, and so the darker it is, the denser the tones will be. As shown here, the black one is much more dense than the dark and light grays. You can get rid of the white parts by changing the density to use brightness of image. There are a ton of different options for the tones, so make sure to play around with them. Also, you can personalize them even more by going to the detailed settings, and you can change the direction, posterize them first, and more. Here I have this drawing I did a while back, and I want to add tones to get some variations and make it unique. So what I can do is turn on the tones layer and change it to use brightness of image so that it rids of the white parts. Lowering the frequency can help the tones be more visible, and for this I'll keep the tones as circles. So I'm going to use an airbrush to add tones to some parts of the drawing. For me, I like to add the tones to areas that aren't the focus. To change the color of the tones, rasterize the layer so it will become a normal raster layer. And from here, you can lock transparent pixels, change blending mode to multiply, and recolor the tones to fit your drawing. Let's lower the opacity a bit, and done! A way around this is to download tone brushes, and you can get similar effects, though usually the variation is much more limited compared to using layer properties. You can also see a lot of comic artists using this to add shading, even coloring. Once I used tones to color this random one page of comic I made for an assignment, and I'd say it turned out pretty well, and definitely saved me a lot of time for the coloring and shading. One last thing I love to do is to use tones for backgrounds. Also when I'm too lazy to draw one, which is most of the time, Anyway, the same steps as before, but this time I'm really lowering the frequency so that the tones can really show. Oh, I like this one. Just look how pretty and easy that is. Now on to the fourth and last one, layer color. The second feature available only to Clip Studio Paint EX. Layer color allows you to change the color of everything in the layer to the colors you selected. As you can see here, you can select two colors. Layer color will be your darkest color, while subcolor will be your lightest color. Sounds confusing, no? Let me just show you. Here, if I set the layer color to blue and the subcolor to black, the darkest color will be blue and the lightest color will be turned to black. So if I use white to draw something, it'll become black. And if I use black, it'll become blue. And as for the middle one right here, I used red with a value of somewhere in the middle, so it'll be a dark blue. In a way, it works a bit like gradient map, but with just two colors. One way to utilize this feature I really find helpful is to convert your sketch layer into another color to make it easier for you to do line art. I use this on almost all of my works since my sketch, as you can see here, has tons of different colors to separate the different parts. And I can just simply turn on layer color to make it all the same color. Also, a good thing about this is if you like to sketch on different layers, you can group them into one folder and turn on layer color to the whole folder. And from there, you can start doing your lines. Look at that cool transition. I'm officially a professional YouTuber now after that transition. Now, if you can't find layer property, you can go to Window and make sure there's a check mark right next to layer property. And there you have it. Well, I think that is all I can give you about layer property. And as I said before, there are so much more things you can do with all these features. So don't hesitate to experiment and use them to help you with your art. Thank you and goodbye.